everyone, I'm Koryn Okey.
And I'm Justin Ford.
And welcome back to Breezeway Academy. At Breezeway Academy, you'll learn how to build stronger, more professional vacation rental operations. So whether you manage 10 homes or 1,000, this series is here to give you practical frameworks, proven strategies, and real-world best practices that you can apply immediately. At Breezeway, we work with thousands of property managers around the world, and every day we see how high-performing operators structure their teams, build their workflows, and deliver 5-star stays consistently. But we also see where operations break down. And in this series, we're focusing on vacation rental safety, and I am so excited to be joined by the expert, my friend, my colleague, Justin Ford, Breezeway's head of safety. If you don't already know Justin, is there anybody that doesn't know you?
Once in a while.
Okay. If you don't already know Justin, which many of you probably do, Justin brings years of hands-on experience in vacation rental safety, inspection, and risk prevention. And in this series, we're going to break down what safety means for all vacation rental operators and how you can actually put it into practice. In our last video, we talked about how you actually build safety into your operational processes, from working with owners to training your team and setting up inspections and documentation. But now we're going to talk about how you can actually make it applicable and apply all of that. What are the most common safety concerns and safety issues that you should be thinking about and looking for in your properties?
Yeah, this is where it all comes together, because once you have the systems in place, you need to know what to look for. And that's where the biggest risks tend to be.
Let's start with probably one of the most important areas, fire safety.
Fire safety, that's where it all starts. That's what most of the inspections, government regulators, everything's focused on. And it's one of the most critical aspects to the stay at any property. Some of the most common issues that can occur are missing or non-working smoke alarms, missing carbon monoxide detectors, and not having fire extinguishers readily available. If those systems are not in place or aren't functioning properly, guests may not have early warning in an emergency.
Yeah, and that's something that, all guests are really just assuming is being taken care of and is done and functioning properly in their rentals.
Yeah, that's right. To address this, you want to make sure alarms are installed in correct locations, tested regularly, and replaced when needed. Fire extinguishers should be accessible and easy to find, not hidden away. And if the property has grills or fire features like fire pits, gas, or wood, those need to be placed and maintained safely as well.
And another area that's often overlooked is something we talked about in last video, which is egress and how your guests actually exit or get out of the property.
That's a big one. It's one that really our industry has a lot of work to do on. Common issues include blocked exits, windows that don't open, rooms that don't have proper escape routes, and if exits aren't accessible, guests may not be able to leave quickly in an emergency.
Definitely not something you want them figuring out in the moment.
That's right. It's something that needs to be addressed before any guest stays. So to prevent this, you need to make sure all exits are clear and functional. You need to test the windows and doors regularly and ensure that bedrooms meet proper egress building code requirements, and that's across all 50 states, UK, Canada. Everyone has rules related to egress, especially when you consider that guests are in vacation mode. Remember that vacation brain we talked about in the last video? And they're not familiar with your property.
Let's talk another big one is something that shows up and can almost show up at any property, which is fall risks.
Yeah, slip, trips, and falls is the most common risk in any environment, especially in short-term rentals. Things like missing handrails, poor lighting, uneven surfaces, cluttered walkways. I ask people all the time, have you ever walked into your own rental property with luggage, holding a cell phone, using it as a flashlight? If you haven't done that, you've got to go through and make sure your guests are going to be able to experience that well, because all that stuff can lead to slips, trips, and falls. And these seem like a lot of small issues to people, but they can have a big impact if a guest gets injured during their stay.
And it's often not something that just like shows up, right? It's things that they develop over time.
Yeah, that's usually how it happens. So to prevent this, you want to make sure you've got handrails that meet proper building code. You want to improve lighting in key access areas, and then you want to regularly inspect the stairways and walkways that lead in and out of the property. You're looking for something that could cause someone to lose their footing.
Justin, what about decks, balconies, railings?
Yeah, there's been studies out there that show that over 50% of all decks in America are needing replacement. So they're a serious issue. They're really important and they require regular attention. Over time, materials can wear down, fasteners can loosen, structures can shift. If you're in an ocean environment, decks only last half as much as they would in a mountain environment. So if they're not inspected and they're not maintained, they can become unsafe.
But not always something you can spot right away.
And that's why regular inspections matter. You want to look for signs of wear and damage, and then you want to make repairs as needed. Don't assume something is fine, verify it.
Let's move on, Justin, to other outdoor amenities like pools and water features.
Boy, there's so many now showing up in these short-term rentals. I just saw a lazy river someone's installed.
All right.
Pools and hot tubs are a high-risk area if they're not properly managed. Common issues include lack of proper barriers, missing signage, or not having clear safety measures in place.
Absolutely, and these are really often the amenities that your guests are getting really excited about being able to use.
Exactly. They need to be set up safely. The first step is to make sure you're meeting local regulations. They vary all over the place. Florida has very strict regulations, but New Hampshire doesn't. So you have to make sure you're meeting those. Things like pool gates, pool alarms, covers, required barriers. It's important to understand, though, that these regulations are often bare minimum. We want to go much more, we're going to go above it.
Yeah.
Baseline is not the place you want to be. That is not a complete safety solution. Operators should be thinking beyond that.
Absolutely.
That can include things like installing safety measures such as pool alarms. I'm a huge fan of shepherd's hooks, pool safety hooks, life rings, and then making sure that there's clear, visible signage that can communicate how to use the pool safely. We do have a full pool and hot tub safety inspection checklist on the Breezeway website that can help you add these safety measures to your operational processes. It's about creating layers of protection. Think about all the safety measures that hotel pools have in place. It's about setting expectations and creating a safer environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a really important distinction, right? That idea of compliance versus actually protecting your guests. And honestly, even inside the home, there are things that folks should be watching out for.
Yeah, definitely. Furniture tip overs, unstable furniture, unsafe bunk beds. I keep seeing ceiling fans over bunk beds. Trip hazards that can all pose risks. These are everyday items that need to be safe for regular use.
Well, and I think the biggest thing as folks are thinking about this is to look at this from the perspective of the guest, right?
Yeah, definitely. You want to walk through the property and think about how a guest will use the space. Secure furniture, remove hazards, and then make sure everything is stable and functional.
And then, Justin, there's always the communication piece, which plays a really big role in all of this.
It does. It's important. So much safety information isn't clear or visible. And if it's not, guests are not going to follow it. One of the most common issues is relying on information that's buried in long documents, it's boring, or instructions that just guests may never read.
Yeah, I'm thinking about some of the messages that I've gotten, and you do sort of zone out at some point, and unfortunately you're not usually leading with the safety piece, which is really important. But in this scenario, it's not really about what you're communicating, it's also about how you're communicating.
Yeah, safety information should be simple, clear, and placed where guests will actually see it. And that could be signage. There's a lot of great quick guides that are out there, QR codes, visible reminders in key areas of the home, and you're in luck because Breezeway has built and designed safety signage that you can download from our website, customize, print, and then display in your properties.
Absolutely, and I, as a traveler, printed some of our safety signage and took that on a vacation with me last year.
Ooh, that's
Just
fun.
last year, I took our Water Watcher card. If you're not sure what the Water Watcher card is, I'm sure Justin will tell you.
Oh, I've got one.
So we've covered a lot of areas, and for operators, this can probably feel like a lot if they're managing multiple properties. So how do you actually stay on top of all of this?
Well, that's where having the right system in place makes a big difference. And with Breezeway, you can turn all those safety considerations into structured, repeatable workflows. You can create detailed safety checklists for inspections, schedule recurring tasks, and then make sure nothing gets missed over time. If an issue is identified, whether it's during a turnover or a full inspection, it can immediately be turned into a task, assigned to the right person, and tracked through its full completion. Everything is documented along the way. So instead of relying on memory, which I don't have a very good memory, or scattered notes, you have a clear record of what's been checked, what's been fixed, and what still needs attention.
So it's really, if I'm hearing you correctly, it's about turning all of those best practices into something that's truly manageable on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly. It takes what can feel overwhelming and turns it into a system that your team can follow consistently.
Well, when you look at all of these areas together, it's really clear how important safety is and how it really touches every part of the property.
It does. And the key takeaway is that most of these risks are known and preventable.
Yeah.
It comes down to awareness, consistency, and execution.
And that's really what this whole series has been about, building the systems that help you stay ahead instead of reacting to them.
Yeah, exactly. You may not be able to eliminate every risk, but you can significantly reduce them with the right approach. And if you're looking to go deeper into this, I'd really encourage you and your team to take the Breezeway Short-Term Rental Safety Inspector course. It goes into much more detail on vacation rental safety, inspections, and best practices, and it's a great way to build confidence across your entire operation. If you have questions as you're thinking about how to implement safety in your own business, drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear what you're working through and help point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. And if you want to click on the link below, you can book a time with Justin Ford, our head of safety, who is one of the most passionate people that I have ever met for the work that you do. And I think, it's one of those things that's worth noting. Oftentimes we say like, oh, we're not saving lives, but the work, Justin, that you do and that you help so many operators across the world be able to implement and execute in their businesses really is saving lives.
I feel like I have the best job in the whole industry for that.
I love that. And don't forget, you want to subscribe to Breezeway to stay up to date on all things Breezeway Academy. I want to thank all of you for watching this vacation rental safety module of Breezeway Academy. And Justin, I want to thank you for going through this with all of us. It's been incredible to tackle this series with you. And I'm just really grateful that you shared some of this knowledge with us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you in the next series of Breezeway Academy.